Bowser, the tyrannical Koopa King, the master of princess kidnapping, and the arch nemesis of Mario. And also someone who's a complete joke. Okay, all joking aside, let's be for real here. To put things simply, let's describe Bowser as an ice cream parlor, and he has a variety of different flavors. Like, for example, the most common flavor of this ice cream parlor would be where Bowser becomes the main villain. Or maybe people want a flavor that's unique. So, you give them the ice cream flavor where Bowser's not the main villain. Oh, still not enough? Well, how about the ice cream flavor where Bowser is working with the heroes? Not enough? Okay, well, how about the flavor where Bowser wants to play Monopoly, or go racing, or become a female, or... Okay, that's a bit too much. But then, you come across a flavor that, depending on what place you're eating this flavor at, it's made differently. When it's good, but when it's bad, it's really bad. But, for the context of this video, we're only going to talk about the good stuff. But before I show you the list, allow me to explain the rules in video format. Did you get all that? No? Okay, good. Let's move on. The NES, a console as old as time itself. Alright, I'm gonna be completely honest, and I know this is gonna shock everyone, but I think the Bowser battles in the original NES games, they're not very good. And what do I mean by that? Well, what do I have to say, since all you have to do to defeat Bowser is either kill him with the Fire Flower, or just knock down the bridge. You know, something you've been doing about 7 times now? And Lost Levels is even worse, since all you have to do in that one is to defeat Blue Bowser, yes, that's what his name is, and then when you try to defeat normal Bowser, it has a few difficulty spikes, which is kind of cheap, but once you know how to get through it, it's pretty much the same thing from the first game. As for Super Mario Bros. 2, wait, what? He wasn't even in that game. Well, what if I told you that one of the Bowser fights from the original NES games made it to this list? Let's go all the way back to Super Mario Bros. 3. You just beat all of the Koopalings, all of the Boom Booms, and every single enemy that stood in your way. Now there's only one challenge left, Bowser himself. And you might be wondering, this might be the same thing as last time. Nope, there's no bridge, it's just you and him while he tries to sit on you. No, seriously, aside from breathing fire, he just leaps into the air and tries to crush you with his booty. So, what do you do to defeat him? Just keep avoiding him until the floor breaks, and once there's no floor left, that's it. You just beat the game. He falls to his death, and you save the princess, and yep, it's just your average Mario game. Now, yes, the boss fight is pretty easy once you get the hang of how it works. But I put it on this list because I actually do like this fight, because it does something new instead of just a cheap bridge thing. So yep, I like this fight from Super Mario Bros. 3. Alright, now that I talked about the NES games, it's time to talk about a Super Nintendo game, which in this case, Super Mario World. So, the boss fights in Super Mario World are kind of a mixed bag for me. But before I can talk about the good stuff in the bag, let's talk about the not so good stuff. Well, first of all, the Koopalings are back, but to the game's credit, this was made during the time where people were like, oh yeah, the Koopalings are back, and not like, ugh, the Koopalings are back? Why are they back? I defeated them from the previous game. Why couldn't they stay dead? We're getting tired of you of being in every single Mario game. Sorry about that. Let's just move on. Okay, I'm willing to admit, the Koopaling boss fights in Super Mario World aren't very good boss fights. But at least there were some boss fights that I do prefer over the Koopaling ones, like the Big Boo boss fight. It was a nice change of pace. I mean, it would be interesting if we got to see more new boss fights instead of seeing freaking Reznor. But that's when suddenly he arrived. Oh boy, what an entrance! Now, what can I say about the Bowser battle in Super Mario World? Well, it's got a pretty good entrance, I can tell you that. And the place to fight in is actually pretty epic, which I'm guessing is the rooftop of his castle? Yeah, it sounds more epic, I'm going with that. So yeah, you're literally fighting Bowser on the roof of his castle while he's just flying around in a Koopa clown cart, which might be the only time he's ever gonna ride that thing. And oh, did I forget to mention that there's 3 phases to this fight? Yeah, this boss fight has 3 phases. The first phase is pretty easy. I mean, it is the first phase, it's supposed to ease you to the fight. Then the second phase, he does a new attack, which is dropping a bowling ball at you. And yes, it is as silly as it sounds. And then the third phase, he just completely freaks out by actually using the clown cart to actually crush you himself. Jeez, he's really that angry. And you might be wondering, oh my god, with all this attacks of him spitting out his traditional fire, of him dropping down bowling balls and him trying to crush you, how am I supposed to beat this guy? Well, it's easy, because for parts of the fight, he drops down Mecha Koopas, and all I have to do is jump on the Mecha Koopas and throw it back at him. Do that 2 times for each phase, and that's it. You beat the game. Oh, and I forgot to mention, Peach also helps you out for each phase by dropping down a mushroom, which, to be honest, if you know what you're doing, you honestly don't need the mushroom. So yeah, this boss fight is pretty epic, and kind of an upgrade to the boss fight in Super Mario Bros. 3. But I do have one nitpicking complaint about this boss fight. The fact that you're using robotic toys to defeat Bowser is kind of silly, and it makes Bowser more dumb. Like, seriously, Bowser was already dumb. How more dumber can you make him be? But it's just a nitpick, so other than that, it's a pretty good boss fight. On the side note, there was also a Super Mario World cartoon that did their version of the boss fight, and let's just say it made the game version less dumber.
No more clowning around, Koopa! You're Koopa! Oh.
One! All it took was one of the stupid toys to put you down. Bowser, you're an idiot. It's no secret that the new Super Mario Bros. Series is a really mixed bag for a lot of people. I mean, some people like the games because, hey, it's a nice modern iteration of the 2D Mario games. I mean, as much as we love the 3D Mario games, it's nice to get a 2D Mario game once in a while. And then there's the majority of people saying, wait a minute, these games are false advertisement. There's nothing new about these games. I mean, yeah, sure, there's new level designs, new power-ups, and new enemies, if it had any. But other than that, the majority of these games are just retrends of stuff we've already seen from the previous games. And if you're wondering which side I'm leaning towards to, I'm somewhere in between. I mean, yeah, as much as I like the new stuff in New Super Mario Bros., other than that, it's kind of the same stuff we've seen from the previous 2D Mario games. Oh, speaking of which, let's talk about the boss fights. Hey, whoa, let me stop you right there, buddy. Before we get to the good Bowser battles in the New Super Mario Bros. Series, let's talk about the ones that existed. Alright, let's just get this over with. Let's talk about the Bowser battles that are super freaking awful. You know, as much as I love New Super Mario Bros. DS, the entire final battle is just Step 1, kill the child. Step 2, avoid the big boy. Step 3, cut down the bridge. Cut down the bridge? Where have I seen that before? And as for New Super Mario Bros. 2's final boss, yeah, we don't talk about that one. So while the two final Bowser fights in this series is total freaking garbage, at least it had two good ones, and one of them we're going to be talking right now, and this one comes from New Super Mario Bros. Wii. Not gonna lie, the way this fight starts off is kind of eerie with this dramatic music playing in the background and there's fire already attacking you. You might be thinking, oh, something terrible is going to happen. And then once you reach Bowser himself, it's just the usual cut down the bridge shtick. And then the game is like, oh, congratulations, you beat Bowser easily and you saved the princess. Only for the game to do this. Well, I'm gonna see that in my sleep. Just when you thought you beat the actual game, the game itself was like, what? You thought that was the final boss? No, that was just a warm-up. Here's the real final boss, which is a gigantic Bowser that chases you throughout the rest of this level until you get to the button and drown him in lava. And just, wow, saying that is something. Like, literally Bowser just chases you while also using his claws to clear his path, while also shooting fire, which the fire itself helps you get to a certain path so you can reach the big button. And honestly, the best part about this boss fight is the music. Like, the music did not have to be this intense, yet it did, and it's amazing! And if I had to complain about one thing about this boss fight, is that the first half of this boss fight kind of drags a bit since you need Bowser's fireballs in order to clear some paths in order for you to get to the rest of the level. But other than that, it's a pretty good boss fight. I do like the second half, which tests your platforming skills to see, well, if you don't get crushed by that giant Bowser. And once you get to the big button, then you beat the game. Just imagine if the game's like, nope, he comes back. Oh wait, no, that's how the series goes. Also, did I say that New Super Mario Bros. Had two good final Bowser fights? Well, speaking of the second one, alright, time to jump from one console to another again. Because we're going from the Wii to the Wii U. Because we're looking at New Super Mario Bros. U. Okay, to be honest, I don't want to explain New Super Mario Bros. Again, so let's just talk about the Bowser fight. And it's... Are you freaking kidding me? It's the same bridge thing again? Oh yeah, now that's more like it. Now I know what you're thinking. Wait, this is just another giant Bowser fight. We already did this. Well, yeah, I know New Super Mario Bros. We already did the giant Bowser fight. But here's the difference between that one and this one. You see, in Wii, you had to run away from him. But in you actually have to fight him. And just look at the size of this guy. How are you, a tiny and small little plumber, able to fight somebody that big? Well, let me tell you, all you gotta do is Grand Theft Auto his son and use his vehicle to actually smash his head. Do that 3 times and that's it. That's how you beat a giant down. And I like how they're fighting in Peach's castle and those happy little hills look menacing. I just like it. And also, like the Bowser fight in Super Mario World, it has phases, meaning it will use a different attack each phase. Although, as much as I like this fight, I do have one complaint. Why does it have to take 3 hits to defeat this behemoth? I mean, I feel like it should be either 5 or 6 hits to beat him, not just the titular 3. But other than that, I would rather have this boss fight than any Koopalings or Boom Boom fight. Seriously, why did they repeat those again? Okay, just hear me out. Yes, I am aware that Super Mario 3D Land is hated by a lot of people, and a lot of people said that this was one of the worst Mario games ever made. And to be completely honest, I don't get why. I mean, not that I disagree with them. I mean, I could see why people hate it, but to be completely honest, I didn't think the game was that bad. I mean, I thought it was okay. I mean, not good, but certainly not bad, just okay. I mean, I do like some things about 3D Land, like it brought the Tanuki suit back into the modern era, and hey, introduced Pom Pom, which immediately became a fan favorite. Anyways, moving on. And then we get to the final Bowser fight, and what a way to cap off Super Mario 3D Land, and it's a cut down the bridge thing. But to the game's credit, at least it does something, well, refreshing to this whole scenario by having a level before you get to the bridge. And yeah, that's the only thing I could say about this. And then you cut down the bridge and beat Bowser and save the princess and...
Ooh. Oh.
Wait, what?
Huh? Oh no! Oh, mamma mia! Oh.
Well, that was unexpected, because once again, similar to New Super Mario Bros., the game tricked you into thinking you beat the game, only to give you 2 extra levels. And then once you make it past those 2 extra levels and reach the final boss, the true one this time, then what we get after that is utter chaos. Yup, once again, it's another chase level. Except this one's way more chaotic because the castle is literally crumbling down into ruins while you and Bowser try to escape, while also Bowser tries to stop you from escaping. And you might be wondering, this should be a problem. All I have to do is avoid Bowser from shooting fireballs, throwing spike balls, and also copying Donkey Kong, and just cut down the bridge. That wouldn't be a problem, right? Well, no, because he comes back later, and he's more powerful than he was before. And then once you get to the second bridge, he's just right behind you, like, oh god, run, oh run, he's right behind me, oh god, cut the bridge, oh, yes, fall in the lava, you stupid turtle! Oh, I don't even care if you get crushed by 2 boulders! Fall in there! Fall into the lava where you belong! Okay. I would like to apologize for freaking out over this boss fight. I'll admit, it's a really good boss fight. I just get stressed out every time I was reminded of the chase sequence because it was really stressful. And I'll never complain about the Bowser Bridge battles ever again. Now with that being said, even though you hear me complain about the bridge battles in every single Mario game, I'm willing to admit that this one has to be the best rendition of that. I mean, it raises your stress levels and actually makes you beg for you to cut down the bridge to actually end this battle. Seriously, good job, Super Mario 3D Land. I did not get stressed whatsoever. Oh my god, no, not the chase level, not the chase level! Why are you showing me the chase level again? "3D Land's fight is good, but 3D World is better." Okay, before we get to that, let's just go to what the fight is all about. So the previous boss fights in 3D World is basically Bowser wanted to play Mario Kart, but you said no and now he's angry. And yes, it is kind of weird that Bowser basically turned himself into a furry. God, I can't believe I'm using that word. But if you look past that, it's actually a pretty good boss fight. Like I mentioned before, this is a chase level that's similar to 3D Land's chase level, except 1, you're climbing up a tower instead of going from one section of a castle to another. 2, the tower's not falling apart, well, not all the way. And 3, you're fighting off against a cat version of Bowser, or as the game calls him, Meowser. You're not even hiding it at this point. So all you have to do is climb all the way to the top of the tower and avoid many attacks from Meowser. And once you get to the top, all you gotta do is push down the POW block and that's it. But oh wait, you can't have a chase level without a second phase. And that's basically what happens after the first POW block. There's a second phase where he uses the cherries to split himself into 3. God, as if 1 wasn't bad enough already. So all you have to do is avoid the clones of Bowser and get all the way to the top to get the ultimate POW block and jump on it repeatedly and Bowser turns into a living firework. That's pretty nice. And yes, the whole idea of Meowser can be distracting at times, but hey, at least we got a pretty solid boss fight out of it. God, this part was weird. Okay, so for this next entry, this one's pretty interesting since, well, for starters, it's not from a Mario game. Well, technically it is a Mario game, but it's not your traditional Mario game. Well, with that being said, Yoshi's Island! Now, before we get to our entry, let me share my thoughts on Yoshi's Island. Because, to be honest, it looks freaking good. I mean, aside from the sprite work, everything else doesn't look like it came from a Super Nintendo game. And it's that good. Just look at the colors. It's so colorful. Alright, now enough gushing about Yoshi's Island. Let's just get to our main entry. So, you know how Yoshi's Island introduces beloved Mario characters as babies? And there's a baby version of Mario, as well as a baby version of Luigi? Well, guess what? There's also a baby version of Bowser. Yep, this is our pick for the spot. A baby version of Bowser. I mean, yeah, he doesn't seem much since all you have to do to beat him is just stomp onto the ground and the shockwaves will take care of him. Do that a couple of times and yeah, that's it. That's basically how you beat Bowser. Wow, even as a baby, he's a lot more pathetic than he was as an adult. Okay, you know what? I think I really should keep my mouth shut at this point. So, this is the true battle between Baby Bowser. He gets big, and yes, I'm gonna call this as the first giant Bowser fight. So, what do you do to fight this freaky looking Baby Bowser? Oh, simple really. Just throw eggs at him. And the most interesting way of throwing eggs at Baby Bowser is that, well, you're not throwing the eggs left or right. No, you're literally throwing the eggs into the background. And also, yeah, don't waste time trying to get these eggs, because the more you waste time, the more Baby Bowser slowly approaches you. And every time you hit him with an egg, he bounces back. But don't rely on that too much, because for each time he gets hit, he will get faster and faster until you actually beat him. And not to mention, as if the atmosphere of this fight isn't like stressful enough already, the music pretty much like cranks up the stressfulness. Did I say that 3D Land's chase scene was stressful? But this one's not even a chase level, it's a whole boss fight! And going up against Bowser when he's an infant! Yes, I'm still mind-boggled that he is still a baby, and yet he can be so creepy! So yeah, in case you want to like fight a giant baby version of Bowser, then yep, this fight is for you. And yeah, it's going on the list because yeah, it's good, and that image of Baby Bowser in the background is going to give me nightmares tonight. I just know it. Huh. Number 4. You know what else has a 4? Super Mario 64. Okay, do I really need to explain the impact of Super Mario 64? I mean, yeah, sure, some parts of the graphics don't age very well. I mean, neither did the controls, but for what it's worth, it was a very good transition for Mario to go from 2D to 3D. I mean, heck, if this game didn't existed, I wouldn't have games like Super Mario Galaxy. So, what about the Bowser fights in Mario's first 3D adventure? And, well, I gotta say, these fights actually work. For the time, that is. All you gotta do to defeat Bowser is to grab him by the tail, swing him around, and throw him into one of the spike bombs scattered around the ring. But it's not hard to do since you only need to do it once per fight. But the second fight, however, manages to spice things up by having the whole ring tilt around for each time Bowser stomps to the ring. And also, he can teleport. That's nice, but once again, all you need to do is just get around him, grab him by the tail, swing him around into one of the explosive bombs. Simple as that. I mean, yeah, they're simple, but they work, especially with the controller that you're using. Seriously, how is anyone supposed to use this thing? And then you get to the final boss of Super Mario 64, and you might be wondering, since I only need to throw Bowser only one time in the other fights, maybe the same rule will apply here? Well, no, because this time, you need to throw him into the explosives 3 times. Yep, you heard that right, you need to throw him 3 times. And that's not very easy to do since he has a whole new moveset where he can just stomp onto the ground, creating shockwaves that will literally shock you if you touch them. And yes, he does shoot fireballs, like, sometimes, but other times he will shoot a whole wave of them, and not to mention there are specific types of fireballs that will lock onto you. And if you grab him by the tail when those fireballs are active, just forget about it, because you're not going to throw him. And yeah, that's not very easy to do to like avoid these fireballs. So you gotta make sure these fireballs are gone before you grab Bowser by the tail. And once you get to the third phase of the fight, well, this happens. The third phase of this fight requires perfection. Since the entire arena is shaped like a star, you have to aim perfectly at the explosives, because if you miss only once, he'll just come right back, and it's gonna keep doing it until you actually make his body hit the explosives. And once you beat him, it's very satisfying to pull off. And also, Ultimate Koopa has to be one of the best Bowser battle themes I've ever listened to. It just has that sort of epicness to it, and I wish Nintendo would bring it back someday. Okay, so I wanted to add something new for the top 10 list. You know, just to make it stand out from any other top 10 list. With that being said, introducing the Top 10 Awards! Now, the Top 10 Awards is a segment I created only if we have 3 entries left on our list. And each of them are going to have their own different themes in terms of what the list is about. Now with that being said, allow me to present our awards. For the number 3 spot, they will receive the Pink Gold Peach Award. And for the number 2 spot, they will receive the Metal Mario Award. And for the number 1 spot, they will receive the Gold Dry Bowser Award. And also Mini Bowsers for honorable mentions. Alright, anyone got that? Alright, now let's get to our last entries. Okay, so for our number 3 entry, it was a bit difficult since 1, they both came out the exact same year, and 2, they come from 2 different Mario games. So I just decided, why not both? Yeah, this one's a little complicated, but first, let me explain the first one. Alright, so let's talk about the first 2017 Bowser battle, Mega Dragon Bowser, or as the game calls him, the Ultimate Boss. And if you were playing Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle and was unprepared for this fight, like I was, then yeah, you're probably gonna have a hard time with this boss fight. Well, for 2 reasons. 1, the fight itself, since the first enemies you encounter, aside from the big boss himself, are Valkyries. And yes, these are the enemies that can shoot a machine guns out of their nipples. Yes, that is a very out of context line. And all you gotta do is take down 4 of them. Should be easy, right? Well, if you can see how much damage these Valkyries can do to your teammates, then yeah, that's not very good. And not to mention, you get the big boss himself, who hits like a freaking tank with his attacks. Seriously, I feel like if you get hit by his attacks multiple times, your teammates will die. And not to mention, oh, what's that? Let me read something here. Oh yeah, what was that thing? Oh yeah, there's 3 freaking phases! Yes, there's 3 phases to this fight. Once you get to the first phase, you gotta deal with the second phase, which he starts flying up out of the stage, and you gotta deal with, bucklers. Because I love bucklers. Yeah, keep spawning those bucklers. You know how much I love bucklers. God, okay, sorry, okay, moving on. So after you're dealing with the amount of bucklers that just spawned in this area, and once you take down the second phase, you gotta deal with the third phase, which the third phase has a sort of strategy since Mega Dragon Bowser has a shield, and you can't break the shield, and the only way to like actually get a chance to hit Mega Dragon Bowser is if you make him hit one of those black barriers, which is easier said than done. And once you get to like finishing the fight, then you beat the game. All those pain and tears, and you just beat the game. And you want to know what makes this fight even harder? Beating it 100% completion. Because in order to beat this level 100% completion, you have to not let your teammates die, and you're supposed to beat the fight in 6 turns. Yes, 6 turns. For how long it takes for you to beat this boss? You might be wondering, how in the world am I supposed to beat this guy in 6 turns? I mean, if you were an expert, it might be easier for you, but it's not easy. Believe me, I tried. But other from the amount of difficult to reach this fight, let alone beating it, then I gotta say, it's a pretty cool and epic boss fight for a Mario and Rabbids crossover. Can't wait to see how the battles look in Sparks of Hope. Alright, now it's time to talk about the second Bowser battle that came out in 2017, which is the one in Super Mario Odyssey. And I gotta say, I really like this one. And for a couple of reasons, but it's mostly two reasons. Well, for the first reason, I like this fight. I mean, yeah, sure, it's pretty much the same fight from the first fight in Super Mario Odyssey, but it has to sort of spiced up things a bit. Kind of like Super Mario 64 Bowser fight, the way it takes a fight you've already done, but spices things up. And in case you don't know how to beat him, all you gotta do is use his hat against him and beat the daylight out of him. Do that 3 times and the fight is over. Now he does have a lot of attacks, like he can spawn a ring of fire around him so you don't go near him, and breathe fire around, and all you have to do is jump over it, and he can throw spike balls or any kind of whatever this ball is supposed to be, or hit the duplicate hats to try to get the real hat so you can beat the daylights out of him. And so far this fight is pretty neat. But you wanna know what's also neat? What comes after the fight. So basically what comes after the fight is that you get to possess Bowser, and you and Peach need to get out of here because the insides of the moon is falling apart. And in order for you two to escape, you need to use Bowser's skills like smashing things with his bare hands, or breathing fire, or just jumping like a giant big boy. And the music is really intense once you get to like parts of the section of this whole escape sequence. But then once you reach to the final area of this escape, then you get Break Free, which is a really good music alongside Jump Up Superstar. And I gotta say, it's a really nice way to cap off Super Mario Odyssey, which is in fact a really good adventure for Mario, especially one for the Switch. If only it would get a sequel one day. So yeah, the two Bowser fights I like very much, even though one of them is infuriating and the other one has a great way to cap things off. So that's why I'm picking both of them for number 3. You'd be surprised on what I picked for the number 2 entry, since usually you would have thought that I would have picked for number 1. But it's not. So with that being said, let's talk about the Bowser battle from one of my favorite 3D Mario games of all time,
Super Mario Galaxy!
Yeah, it shouldn't come as a surprise that Super Mario Galaxy is my all-time favorite 3D Mario game. And to be completely honest, how could it not be? I mean, I love the graphics, which age very well. I love the music. I love the gameplay. I just love everything about Super Mario Galaxy. It's so freaking awesome and I love it. I mean, I literally breathe Super Mario Galaxy. Super Mario Galaxy is my... Okay, I think I'm getting a bit too creepy. But anyways, let's talk about the Bowser fight. So, the Bowser fight starts off with the Bowser fights in Super Mario Galaxy. The bridge collapses thanks to the meteors, and you gotta make it to the top before the entire bridge falls down. And yeah, that's basically how the fight starts. And of course you get the epic stare down, and Bowser's just like, finally, you got here just in time to see the creation of my galaxy in the center of the universe. Watch and weep. From this galaxy, I will rule a great galactic empire with Peach by my side. It will last forever. I will rule every pitiful corner of the universe. So Mario, as you can see, I got big plans, and stopping you is at the top of my list. Oh my god, this is gonna be amazing. Sorry, got caught up in the moment. I mean, I just love Super Mario Galaxy very much. So basically, just like our previous entries, there are 3 phases to this fight. Or, as the context of this fight, 3 planets. all you gotta do is use the different tactics to knock Bowser down and hit him as many times as you can before moving on to the next planet. Like the first planet, Bowser rolls into a boulder and you gotta hit the weak spot, which is Bowser himself. And then he starts spinning around, and then you hit him, and he starts spinning around, and then you hit him, and you move on to the next planet after like 2 hits. And the next planet, you gotta use these annoying green plants. Like, remember those plants that just knock you back once you hit them? Yeah, you gotta use them as weapons and use them against Bowser. And do that 2 times, and then you move on to the final thing, which is basically what you've been doing in the previous fights in Super Mario Galaxy. Okay, just a small little nitpick. I really don't think this should be the final phase of the final battle. But yet again, it was like how I was complaining about the bridges in the previous entries and how Super Mario 3D Land was the better version of the bridge. And yeah, I feel the same way for this battle. It's basically the same battle format from the previous fights in this game, but it's a lot better since it does something to spice things up. And also the music is freaking epic. Like, oh my god, this music is just so epic, and everything about this is so epic. Like, you're literally fighting on this thing. I don't know what it is, but I'm pretty sure that's where the Grand Star is, and it's at the freaking sun. Like, this is the sun we're talking about. Like, you're fighting in the middle of the sun. Like, oh my god, the spectacle is so amazing. Oh, sorry about that. I just got hyped again. So anyways, yeah, I would put this higher if it weren't for the last phase, but yet again, the last phase is amazing, and so does this fight, and so does this game, because Super Mario Galaxy is a freaking amazing game. Okay, calm down. Calm down. I know, Super Mario Galaxy is an amazing game. Just calm down. The final boss of Super Mario Run would have made this list, but it's a mobile game and it's behind a paywall. So yeah, it's only an honorable mention. The possessed Bowser fights from various Mario RPGs would have made the list, but there were just too many to cram in. The dry Bowser fights from various Mario games. I don't know if this should count, but I guess I'll just put them in here just in case. Oh yeah, I went there. I put Fury Bowser as number 1. And why's that? Well, because the boss fight is a freaking kaiju fight. Like, you're literally 2 giants fighting against each other in a very big area. An area that basically Bowser took over because, well, he was angry. And just the fight itself is freaking crazy. And not to mention, this was like, I don't know, a recent Mario game, and it already blew my mind for how epic this is. I mean, yeah, sure, you do this fight multiple times, but by the time you get to the final version of this fight, it's just a whole lot of epicness. Just wow, the music, the atmosphere, just wow. I mean, yes, I do love Mario Galaxy's fight more. It's just this one takes the cake for how epic this is. But oh no, that's not all. Then we get to the second phase. Oh, what's that? There's a second phase? Oh, hold on, let me show you. Oh my god. Now, if you were to tell me that this was the true final battle between Mario and Bowser, I would 100% believe you, because but just look at this fight! Like you're literally riding on Plessy while also trying to take down Bowser, which in case Bowser wants to kill you. Yeah, this is the first time I've ever seen in a long time where Bowser actually wants to kill Mario. Like, he is that angry. And just, oh my god, this clearly shows of him launching his own spikes at you and literally just constantly breathing fire. Which, this is the fight where he breathes fire the most. And yeah, he's a fire-breathing turtle. Of course he's gonna breathe fire. But this one is just a whole barricade of fire. And just listen to the music. It's so epic too. Now, as much as I love Super Mario Galaxy's final battle, this one pretty much takes the cake. And I know it's recent, but hey, might as well have a boss fight that bundles in with another boss fight. And yeah, this boss fight pretty much made Bowser's Fury worth it. And this is the #1 spot that deserves the Golden Dry Bowser Trophy. And that marks the end of our top 10 list. Now, sorry if the list kinda took too long since I was being a little bit experimental with a few parts of the list. But if you guys like some of the parts that I added as well as the experimental ones, then yep, that's fine by me. So make sure you guys like and subscribe and do all the sorts of stuff. Also check the community tab for like any updates or polls and stuff for my channel. And thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.